So yes, we'll discuss the supply chain resiliency that we've been experiencing the last two years, especially with COVID. So we'll discuss the context a bit. We'll see a particular customer, Strymon, what they were doing and how they got hit with the by the context. We'll see what Odoo does and where there is some limitation, and we'll see how we will use FrePPLe to overpass those limitations and provide a better tools for the customers to plan for their supply chain. So in the last couple years with the COVID and maybe even started before, we had some supply chain issues globally. The shipping costs were getting higher, the distributions, the lead times were getting longer, and also highly variable. So you could get some parts in a couple months, in 2 or 3 months, and then maybe you could order those a month after, and you'll have to wait 6 or even longer. There is lots of shortages worldwide. There's lots problems with electronics chips and those kind of shortages impacting many businesses, many industries. We'll see here with the electronics and audio equipment, but it's impacting also. I heard about the automobile industry, deliveries being delayed because of electronics not being available. So maybe also decline of quality, inflations with governments printing money. So we'll see how this got impacted some of our customers. So lots of business challenges, how to plan the procurement, how to when to order, what's the quantity to order. We'll see how company needs to adapt to those changes and maybe bring over more stock so that they can be more reliable to provide and deliver their customers. Margins are more important than ever because a typical supplier may be cheaper, but have a longer lead time, and you might want to switch to a more expensive one, who will deliver in a more efficient way. So, and also, even if people knows about those supply chain issues and the global context, customer expectation are not always adapting to those changes. So some customers still expect delivery to happen with the same delay than before. So Strymon is an old customers of ours. They manufacture in the US audio equipment using subcontractors. Most of their suppliers and electronic devices and components come from Asia. So they have a pretty long purchase lead time even before COVID, and it's on average maybe 4 to 6 months, but they span from 2 weeks to even a year, or maybe more than a year, and and that got more problematic with COVID because longer lead time, shortages, competition with other industry. So what they were doing up to this day is they export the sales history from Odoo into an Excel spreadsheet and build up a forecast for 6 months. And based on that forecast, they plan and create manufacturing orders in Odoo for 6 months. And those manufacturing orders, following the reordering rules that they configure in their system. They generate draft PO again for 6 months. So on a weekly or daily basis, what their team is doing is reviewing the suggested PO and adjusting the quantity based on the actual demand or based on the lead time that they get from their suppliers. So they may look at stuff further away and decide to order sooner or order more than expected or more than suggested. So it's a lot of time is spent in this process building the forecast, and also on a daily, weekly basis reviewing those quantity and dates to decide to purchase or not. So, and the problem they have with Odoo is, yes, you can set reordering points in different location. So they have some in their own main warehouse. They have others at their subcontractors location. Yes, you can set up a different lead time by product and by supplier. But the thing is, everything is static. You need to go back there every time there is a change, and you need to and the reordering point in Odoo needs to take into account the lead time, because it's just a trigger point to create the purchase order. And so if that minimum doesn't include the quantity for the lead time, and that lead time change, well, you may just order stuff too late. And so they don't take that lead time into account, and they need to adjust with many different factors that can change over a week or even a couple of days. So that's why we looked at FrePPLe with them. So what is FrePPLe? It's an advanced planning system. It's an independent software that sits next to Odoo. And what we did is basically pull the Odoo data on a daily basis, and the forecast is generated based on sale history in less than 10 minutes. And we based on that forecast for the future, we will generate the procurement plan. So basically you have manufacturing orders with dates and quantity and purchase order related to those. And what it can do is push those individual POs and MOs to Odoo. So and you can modify them in FrePPLe before pushing them to Odoo, and you can still modify them in Odoo if required. So they're in draft, so you can make changes there. So the process looks like this. We have Odoo on the top first lane, on the top 3 lanes, and so basically FrePPLe on the last one is reading the Odoo data. It's reading the confirmed sales order in a whole database. In our case, it's like there's more than 2 years of data. It looks at confirmed POs, and because Strymon is using confirmed MO as the demand, we decided to skip those MOs because those are not the one really being produced. So we only take the in progress and the done one. And so this data gets brought over into FrePPLe, that goes first to through the forecast, looking at the sales orders, and with based on the product configuration and existing POs and MOs, a plan is built, and the plan provides suggested POs on top of the one already existing. So it's really the delta that is suggested there. And so based on that, the idea is the customer can again review on a weekly or daily basis. They can review the suggestion here. They can we'll see there, but they can make changes and based on filter, like we show them the next 10 days of POs and MOs, and based on those propositions, they can compare to what Odoo does and what they were doing before, so they can compare the two approach and decide to export those POs and MOs to Odoo and confirm them for production or for ordering. So one of the benefits that they have using FrePPLe is, first, it's a standalone server, it's a standalone software, so they can make all the changes they want without impacting what's going on in Odoo. So they can update the forecast, they can update the plan, and rerun the plan as much as they want based on new data or updated information from suppliers. So they update stuff in Odoo, they run this. Like I said, it takes less than about 10 minutes, and they can see what are the differences, what are the changes, and if they need to order stuff sooner or anything. So everything is taken into account. So that's, and compared to what they were doing before, just having this available in 10 minutes, it's a huge gain for them. Another one is the forecast can be overwritten. So it's not that the input can be updated pretty quickly, but it's also in the process they can override the result of the forecast. So in green here we can see the sales history. We see in blue the open orders, and we have the forecast as the red line. And you can see for November 2021, for this particular product, FrePPLe suggested 746 as the demand, but for some reason we can update with the second line, the next line here with the forecast override. For this particular product, and even we can do it for one particular customer, we can bump the number or down or up to what we know based on some other source of information. So that can be updated and so based on that change, then we can rerun the plan, and again 10 minutes, and you get your new your new suggested quantities and dates. The good thing also with FrePPLe is it's not only one database. You can have as much as 4, and you can test again different forecast override for each of the database. You can plan for a month, or you can plan every week, and you can see, or you can test different scenarios in each of those databases, and or keep a backup and compare with the next run of the plan. So you can there's no tools to compare the two results. You'll need to extract data because those are two separate databases, but you can extract the plan from two databases and compare in Excel or stuff like that. Yeah. So that's one of the benefits of using FrePPLe here. And that's it for the presentation. So it's brief overview. I don't know if there is any questions.
Yep. Sorry, I'm back. Checking questions.
It's in the Q&A, right?
So Sandeep is asking, how much can it be helpful when there is no sales history? So, for instance, for a startup company who wants to manage forecasting better from the beginning.
Well, the forecast, you can create the demand. You can generate some demands and let FrePPLe generate the forecast for you.
Okay,
You can fake the history and yeah.
right. I just quickly checked the FrePPLe website. So it's an open source project, actually an open core, and you're using the open core, and you don't, or are you requiring some of the closed source extensions of the product?
So it's pretty much the same as Odoo. So there is the open source projects. The open source projects so comes doesn't come with some modules. So the ones, and I'm guessing, I don't know if Isham or Johan from FrePPLe are on the call, but um, the forecasting, the planning, and are part of the enterprise. And I think the module to read and write Odoo data as well.
Hmm.
And there is some, so there is some parts in FrePPLe, additional parts on top of open source FrePPLe to do what we had to do here. And there is also a FrePPLe module on the Odoo side to export the data. So all the communication between Odoo and FrePPLe are done through an XML file
Hmm.
being generated on the Odoo side and transferred to FrePPLe.
Okay, that's nice. Do we have other questions? Don't be shy. Okay. So basically, this could be a solution to replace the MPS from Odoo Enterprise.
Yep, it does. It's exactly what, yeah, it tells you what, and I haven't provided lots of screenshot, but you got what you have in the MPS, which is like what's your initial inventory of the month, what's your demand, what's your production, what's the and everything. The good thing also haven't mentioned it in the benefits is in Odoo you get some numbers and it's hard to explain them. With FrePPLe, when you look at a PO line that says you need to order this and at this date with this quantity, it gives you the list of sales order or forecast that justify this the quantity. And why do you need to order 10? Well, because you have 5 here for this sales order and 5 there for the forecast. So
Okay.
it's easier for the planner to explain, or for the purchaser or the production manager to explain the accountant, here is why I need to order this, here is what I need to why I need to start this production now.
Okay.
and
And
and,
you're
and
supporting multiple levels of bums too.
sorry.
One of the issues with the enterprise MPS is when you start having large bums and multiple levels of BOMs, of bums, uh, then the screen gets very, very confusing.
Yep.
So,
In for Strymon here, I think the one of the challenge we had uh, is they wanted to so they have two or three subcontractors with different
mhm,
capacity. And
mhm,
so they know the capacity, they know the the um, the capacity and the priority, so which one to use
okay,
first. And the challenge was among all the manufacturing orders or operations we have in Odoo is what do we count. So when the subcontractor says I can produce 9,000 a month,
mhm,
what is one? Is one a manufacturing order in Odoo? Or, and in our case, one was one finished good. And so
okay,
if it was, and a finished good in Odoo is the result of 5 manufacturing orders, because you have intermediate products
yep,
that gets reused in other ones. So it's a pretty complex, it's a 5 level depth
mhm,
graph. and once we've been able to map this correctly, the first time I mean, at the end, uh, based on the purchase order, uh, I think Odoo suggested buying an additional $7,000 of goods, which is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only the delta. So they were doing stuff pretty well before, and the number that FrePPLe suggested is not a crazy number. FrePPLe didn't generate a PO plan for where they needed to invest thousands and thousands of dollars. It was pretty limited, and the again, the number of levels in the bomb wasn't really an issue. I mean, that was a challenge, but it was pretty with the FrePPLe support, we were able to
Okay, that's
overcome
really
the
nice.
stuff.
I think I'm going to consider that for some of my customers. So, and you are able to subcontract to multiple different suppliers based on their capacity.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so
With
that's
the
something the MPS of Odoo is totally unable to do.
I can go back to my screenshot here, so you can see there uh, in the plan type you can run the plan without constraints,
Mm-hmm.
and so that will tell you if I had like unlimited capacity,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you should do. This is what you should provide, and there might be just the target you want to. That might just be your long-term plan. Maybe today you have a capacity of 5,000, and the unconstrained plan tells you that for November you need to produce 10,000, and
Mm-hmm.
so maybe you would start looking for additional capacity, like train,
Mm-hmm.
invest in your current subcontractors, or maybe find a new one, and so you can take long-term decision there, and then you can run the plan with the constraint, and then that will tell you, okay, you need to and that's where FrePPLe will load everything it can as of
Mm-hmm.
November and push some stuff that you needed for November in December or those kind of things.
That's really nice.
Yep.
Okay. Not seeing any more questions. I don't want to hold the microphone. Just myself. Um, is there anything you would like to add before we close the session? And
Well, if there
Maxime?
are people have questions, I can remain
Yep.
on the Discord chat. I'm there as Max3903. Feel free to ask any questions. Here are my details as well. Reach me by email, and yep, that's pretty much it. And I suggest the couple next talks from my colleagues. I think it's in the other rooms. Ben is going to talk about our DevOps process.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Maxime.
Thank you.
And I wish you a pleasant day.
You too. Bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.